York City found out that you're having sex parties during COVID?
Yeah. I actually was the one who convinced the mayor to make it a mandate.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and absolutely massive bombshell dropped today by Steven Crowder's investigative crew. They seem to be doing excellent work in the New York area. This one is sure to make your blood absolutely boil. And I'm going to have Gerald from Louder with Crowder on my live stream today at, I think, 1:30 Central, which you can go watch later, of course. And then I'm going to actually have the CEO of Sticker Mule on after that. So we've got an absolutely jam-packed show. This is some excellent hidden camera work where the czar of the lockdowns in New York City now admits to having basically hedonistic parties while the entire country was locked down. It's wild. And given the nature of the topic, I know what YouTube's going to do this video, so I'm really glad to have Private Internet Access to sponsor it. Shout out to this video's sponsor, Private Internet Access. Look, it's 2024. If you aren't using a VPN yet, you're completely missing out, and Private Internet Access is the one I use on all of my devices. If you've been following the news, you see that censorship, websites, apps are getting shut down in certain countries, all sorts of craziness. Well, a VPN helps you never have to worry about that. Private Internet Access also protects you from the prying eyes of hackers, internet service providers, and others that can view your personal data. Perhaps also just as importantly, Private Internet Access allows you to access region-restricted content from all over the world. Streaming services like Netflix, Amazon Prime, and more have different library options based on where you're located, and some shows simply cannot be accessed if you're not in the target location. Happens to me all the time. Many sports events also have regional blackouts. Well, VPNs can be a convenient way to make sure you're getting the content that you're paying for. Private Internet Access also allows you to protect an unlimited amount of devices all at the same time, so your entire household with a single subscription. And I've been working with Private Internet Access so long that I have an absolutely massive discount available to my viewers. Link in the description below. Get Private Internet Access today using my link. Save huge, protect your computers, access all the content that you've been paying for, and ensure that your internet is never censored. If you don't have a VPN yet, make sure you get Private Internet Access. Breaking: former New York City Kufsar said he held drug-fueled hookup parties during the lockdowns. Says that New Yorkers would have been, quote, pissed if they found out that he was running the entire COOF response for the city. Dr. Jay Varma, a Kamala Harris supporter, former senior advisor for public health in New York City's office, quote, I had to be kind of sneaky about it. I was running the entire COOF response for the city. We rented a hotel. We all took Molly and all this other stuff. 8 to 10 of us were in a room, just being nude with friends. What? This guy was literally what? We went some underground dance party underneath a bank on Wall Street. We're all rolling. This was not COOF friendly. I did all this deviant, spicy stuff while I was, on TV and telling you, basically, just so you know, he said all this stuff. It's all on video. While people's grandparents and fathers and mothers had to die alone because the city would not let people visit them. While people could not go to church. While people could not go to various, they couldn't visit sick family members. They couldn't go to funerals. The kids couldn't go to school, which put them years behind. And this guy was out having, hookup parties.
I actually was the one who convinced the mayor to make it a mandate.
By the way, this guy was the one who, in his words, convinced the mayor to make the mandate.
New York City found out that you're having sex parties during COVID?
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been a real embarrassment. We went to some
a real embarrassment. If I knew New Yorkers, they would have they would have done a little bit more than be embarrassed. Or I'm sorry, they would have. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I don't think New Yorkers would have let this guy walk down the street ever again.
Underground, like, dance party, like, underneath a bank in Wall Street. And we were all rolling, we were all taking Molly, and everybody's high. And I was so happy, because I hadn't done that in, like, a year and a half. I'm like,
oh my God, he was just so happy. While all the plebes, by the way, out there, all the plebes the poors had to stay at home, right? Couldn't go visit their sick families. You know, you had obviously, what's his name? You had Cuomo out there, happy to, Cuomo was writing books while he was putting sick people in retirement homes. Many people believe Cuomo is responsible for more than 10,000 deaths by making that decision. And then I guess who was advising him? Some pillhead, by the way, I don't care if you do drugs, but some pillhead who's going to weird dungeon parties.
Like a year or whatever. And but I was looking around being like, I wonder if anybody sees anything differently. Because this was not COVID friendly. The only way I could do this job for the city was if I had some way to blow off steam every now and then. You're kind of sneaky about it because hotels didn't want people gathering there. Because I was like running the entire COVID response of the city. My wife and I like had one with our friends, like in August of
my wife and I had
summer.
one.
So we rented a hotel and it was fun. We all like took like, Molly, and it was like 8 or 9 of us in a 10 or 8 to 10 of us in a room, and everybody had a blast because everybody was like so pent up because it had been like,
oh yeah, I bet. Oh yeah, totally. This idiot. Well, they shout out to this female. The honeypot strikes again. This idiot's out here saying, "Oh yeah, I mean, golly, man, I was just really pent up, so I had to go get a bunch of drugs and have hotel hookup parties, while the plebes and the poors in my city had to live under lockdown mandates that I recommended." Again, this is, I don't think many of you, the reason I'm playing the video is because it really drives it home. And I'm going to have Gerald on later to talk about this, but this is so insane. This is like, oh, we all knew that the elites, like Gavin Newsom, who was going eating at the French Laundry, which was like a Michelin star restaurant, without a mask. Nobody cared. We all knew, people got mad online, but still elected him anyway. New York's a little bit of a different animal, and, I'm hoping that New York goes out there and they sign up for tailgate. By the way, Tailgates for Trump cookbook drops Friday. We have 2 versions. One's going to be the free version. I think it's going to be like 20 or 30 recipes. All you have to do is sign up to our email list. I'm not going to sell your data. You have my word. And then I'll be mailing it out as soon as it's done. And then we're going to do, I think, 500 special editions, which will have 10 extra recipes and a personalized thank you signed by me for every individual. Like each, I will personalize them. I think 500 is the most I can sign. But the real reason for that is obviously you could print them off. I don't care. But you get a few extra recipes, and it's really about just funding the site so we can do some advertising. And so we can, get our sticker activism going better, because we need more momentum there.
Everybody was just like stuck together and stuff like that. Yeah, and sometimes it isn't so much about like penetration. Some of it's just.
Well, it's not about penetration. Yeah, it's about bodies being close.
Just being like naked with friends.
Was that like when everybody was locked down?
It was like the summer of 2020. So like walk around the streets and you could eat outdoors.
Did you have like any mandates in place?
There wasn't any restrictions on gathering. Like you could technically gather people. The hotels didn't want to necessarily have parties, but they weren't gonna like. Yeah. It's so funny. It's like because I.
So this was happening at the time when most of the city could not gather indoors, but he was happy to gather indoors. By the way, Dr. Jay Varma is in fact a Kamala Harris supporter and donor. Isn't that interesting? Here's Brianna Morella writing, I lost my job at Fox Corp because of the illegal NYC private sector jab mandate. When I told Fox HR mandate that the mandate was illegal and poorly written, they told me they were going to comply anyways. Here's the guy behind the mandate saying he was having drug-fueled hookup parties while locking down the rest of the city. Tracy Smith, I was unlawfully terminated as a registered emergency nurse because I did not inject that thing into my body or any patient. This is infuriating. What was allowed to happen to the unjabbed is truly heartbreaking. I mean, again, you know, is anybody really surprised by this? You know, of course, since then, now Dr. J. Varma has deactivated his Twitter account. It seems like that's the only real justice people get nowadays. Like, oh, he just deactivated his Twitter account. Nobody's gonna, you know, it is my belief that there is a higher power in which things get handled. That's my belief, mostly because I have to believe that. You know what I mean? Like, I have to not let the rage overcome me. You know what I mean? Like, not let the rage drive me insane. Because here, Dr. J. Varma, former senior advisor for public health in New York City, I had to be kind of sneaky about it, the hookup parties. I was running the COOF response for the city. We rented hotels. We all took Molly. Again, we went to some like underground dance parties on Wall Street. This was not COOF friendly. I did all this deviant stuff while I was on TV telling New Yorkers to stay inside. I was actually the one that convinced Mayor de Blasio to make the jab a mandate. So why do we do... So the way we do it in public health is we make it very uncomfortable to be unjabbed. They, the public, didn't get jabbed because they heard it was safe. They gave in because it was really hard. Can you believe that? Here he is, like, you know, saying the exact thing that we all knew, you know? Like, the exact thing we all knew, that they didn't, you know, they just made people get it. They didn't care about whether or not it was effective, allegedly. You know, allegedly. They're like, well, we'll just make it really, really difficult to exist as a free human being in the United States of America while we're having orgy parties and hookups and going to dance parties on Wall Street. Absolutely disgraceful. I hope you were informed by this video. Excellent work to Steven Crowder. Make sure you sign up to get our sweet Donald Trump meme cookbook today, and we'll talk to you again real soon.